was founded after 9/11 because they recognized that some people did something and that all of us were starting to lose access.
The debate over Representative Ilhan Omar has reignited outrage in Congress and across America. A new resolution to censure her has divided lawmakers, the media, and the public. It all began when Omar allegedly made remarks suggesting loyalty to Somalia over the United States, sparking accusations of divided allegiance. For many, this isn't just about one statement. It's about something far deeper. Whether America's elected officials are truly loyal to the Constitution they swore to defend. On the House floor, tension was unmistakable. Lawmakers reminded the nation that every member of Congress takes an oath of true faith and allegiance to the United States, with no hesitation, no reservation, and no ties to foreign powers. That oath exists to guarantee one thing, that every representative serves the American people first. But Omar's alleged promise to protect Somalia's interests from within the U.S. government, if true, struck many as a direct violation of that sacred trust. To her critics, this wasn't just poor judgment. It was a dangerous breach of loyalty, one that cuts to the heart of what it means to serve America. And as the debate intensifies, one question now echoes through Washington. Can a nation remain strong if its leaders' loyalties are divided?
Mr. Speaker, pursuant to Clause 2A.1 of Rule 9, I seek recognition to give notice of my intent to raise a question of the privileges of the House. The form of the resolution is as follows.
Recognized.
Censuring Representative Ilhan Omar of Minnesota. Whereas elected members of Congress take an oath to bear true faith and allegiance to the United States without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion. Whereas Representative Ilhan Omar took an oath of allegiance to the United States upon becoming a citizen, declaring, "I absolutely and entirely renounce and abjure all allegiance and fidelity to any foreign prince."
The resolution against Ilhan Omar lays out serious allegations. It accuses her of claiming that the U.S. government will follow the will of Somali Americans, and that as long as she remains in Congress, Somalia's waters and sovereignty will be protected. If true, those words go far beyond ordinary political speech. Supporters of the resolution argue they represent something far more dangerous, a pledge of loyalty to a foreign nation while serving under the American flag. For lawmakers pushing the measure, this isn't just about one Congresswoman's remarks. It's about the principle of allegiance, the idea that no elected official should ever promise to serve another country's interests while holding power in Washington. To underscore the gravity of the moment, several representatives invoked the wisdom of George Washington's farewell address of 1796, a speech that warned of divided allegiance and false patriotism. Washington's message was clear. The name of American must always exalt the just pride of patriotism. The primary loyalty of every citizen must be to America alone. More than 2 centuries later, his warning feels eerily relevant. Supporters of the censure resolution say Omar's alleged comments are a modern reflection of exactly what Washington feared: politicians who wear the title of American representative but serve the interests of another land.
Potentate, state, or sovereignty, of whom or which I have heretofore been a subject or citizen. Whereas on January 27, 2024, Representative Omar gave remarks at an event in Minneapolis in which she made treasonous statements. Whereas Representative Omar said she has spoken to many Somalians who asked her to intercede for the Somali government by pressuring the United States government into certain actions. Whereas Representative Omar assured the Somalians she spoke to, the U.S. government will only do what Somalians in the U.S. tell them to do. They will do what we want and nothing else. They must follow our orders, and that is how we will safeguard the interest of Somalia.
The resolution lays out clear and direct consequences. It demands that Omar be formally censured and removed from her committee positions, including the Budget Committee and the Education and Workforce Committee. Lawmakers argue that anyone suspected of promoting foreign interests should never be in a position to shape America's financial policies or influence its education system. They emphasize that this issue extends beyond politics. It's a matter of national security. Allowing divided loyalties within congressional committees, they warn, could jeopardize America's long-term policy decisions. Supporters of the resolution maintain that loyalty to the nation must be absolute, and the integrity of Congress relies on representatives putting America's interests above all else. They caution that failing to address these allegations would send a troubling message, that lawmakers can swear an oath to the United States while secretly serving foreign governments. Such a precedent, they argue, would undermine the very core of American democracy.
Whereas Representative Omar continued, for as long as I am in U.S. Congress, Somalia will never be in danger. Its waters will not be stolen by Ethiopia or others. Sleep in comfort knowing I am here to protect the interest of Somalia from inside the U.S. system. Whereas George Washington warned in his farewell address of 1796 to guard against the impostures of pretended patriotism, and further declared citizens by birth or choice of a common country, that country has a right to concentrate your affections. The name of American, which belongs to you in your national capacity, must always exalt the just pride of patriotism more than any appellation derived from local discriminations.
Critics of Omar insist that this debate isn't about her heritage or background, it's about loyalty. They emphasize that there's nothing wrong with being proud of one's culture. The concern arises only when that pride appears to come before loyalty to the United States. This distinction, they argue, is crucial. Members of Congress swear an oath to uphold the Constitution and protect the nation, and that duty must remain unquestioned. The ongoing censure battle touches on a deeper question. Can a representative truly serve two masters, or must loyalty to America always be absolute? The resolution also underscores the symbolic weight of censure. If approved, Omar would have to stand before the House and face a public rebuke, a moment meant to demonstrate that Congress will not ignore signs of divided allegiance. For many lawmakers, this is about more than one person. It's about preserving the public's trust in the entire system. They warn that if citizens begin to doubt their leaders' devotion to America, the very legitimacy of Congress and the democracy it represents could begin to erode.
Whereas these statements by Representative Omar clearly violate the oath she took as an elected member of Congress to defend and protect the United States Constitution. Whereas Representative Omar has exhibited the treasonous tendencies George Washington warned about, and her actions must be condemned by all members of Congress who adhere to the oath they took upon assuming office. And whereas by openly admitting her efforts to advance Somalia's interest using her position as a United States representative, Representative Omar has revealed herself to be a foreign agent acting on behalf of a foreign government. Now, therefore be it resolved that Representative Ilhan Omar of Minnesota be censured Representative Ilhan Omar forthwith present herself in the well of the House of Representatives for the pronouncement of censure. Representative Ilhan Omar be censured with the public reading of this resolution by the Speaker, and Representative Ilhan Omar be and is hereby removed from the Committee of the Budget and the Committee on Education and the Workforce.
Beyond Omar herself, this controversy has sparked wider concerns about the growing influence of foreign interests in American politics. Critics warn that foreign governments constantly seek ways to shape U.S. policy, and if members of Congress hold divided loyalties, it could give those governments a direct pathway into America's decision-making process. By allegedly portraying herself as a protector of Somalia within the U.S. government, Omar's remarks, if proven true, highlight the risk of foreign priorities being advanced from within America's own institutions. That is why this debate has become so heated. For many, the issue is not personal. It's about national security and loyalty. At its core, this resolution is about far more than one lawmaker. It's about whether America still has the courage to defend its sovereignty in an age of global influence and blurred allegiances. Critics say Omar's case serves as a warning. If the oath to the Constitution loses its meaning, America risks unraveling from within. Supporters of the resolution argue that the message must be unmistakable. Serving in Congress means serving the United States and the United States alone. Anything less, they say, threatens the nation's security and future. This controversy has also revived a fundamental question. What does it truly mean to take the oath of office? That oath is not symbolic. It is a solemn promise to uphold the Constitution and put America first in every decision. When that promise is disregarded, the bond of trust between citizens and their representatives begins to weaken. For many Americans, the accusations against Omar strike at the heart of national identity. When she allegedly declared that Somalia's waters and sovereignty would be defended as long as she remained in office, critics claim she made her allegiance clear. To them, this was not an accidental slip, but a deliberate statement of divided loyalty. And when loyalty is divided, they argue, both national unity and security come under direct threat. Censure is one of Congress's strongest forms of public condemnation. It does not remove a member from office, but it permanently marks their name and the congressional record as an example of broken trust. Supporters insist this measure isn't about silencing Omar. It's about preserving the integrity of the House and honoring the sacred oath every member takes. The controversy also raises deeper questions about how immigrant and diaspora communities engage with U.S. politics. There is nothing wrong with staying connected to one's cultural roots, but critics argue that when those connections turn into political pressure to prioritize foreign interests, the line between cultural pride and political allegiance is crossed. Congress, they insist, must guard that line firmly. Perhaps the most troubling part of Omar's alleged statements was the suggestion that the U.S. government should act under the direction of Somali Americans. To her critics, this was not only offensive, it was dangerous. The U.S. government exists to serve all Americans, not to answer to any one community or foreign agenda. Suggesting otherwise, they argue, undermines democracy and fuels the perception that Congress can be influenced by outside powers. Supporters of the censure resolution believe that ignoring this issue would set a dangerous precedent. If lawmakers can openly express loyalty to another nation without consequence, what prevents future representatives from doing the same? The oath to the Constitution must remain sacred, absolute, or it becomes meaningless. By holding Omar accountable, they say Congress is drawing a clear red line. Allegiance to foreign governments has no place in the halls of American power. Meanwhile, Omar's defenders claim her remarks were taken out of context and weaponized by political opponents to damage her reputation. But critics counter that the seriousness of her words leaves little room for misinterpretation. When a representative statement seemed to place another country's interests above America's, they argue it is too dangerous to dismiss as the mere political theater.
This moment has revealed just how divided Washington has become. Some lawmakers view the resolution as vital to safeguarding national sovereignty, while others see it as a partisan attack. Yet beyond politics, ordinary citizens are left questioning whether their leaders are truly loyal to the flag they swore to defend. The Omar controversy has become a test of how America handles divided loyalties in an increasingly globalized world. The echoes of George Washington's warning from centuries ago now ring louder than ever. His belief that the name American must always come first feels more relevant today than it has in generations. Ultimately, this debate is not just about Ilhan Omar's words, it's about whether America still has the strength to live up to the ideals of her founders. To many, the resolution is more than an act of discipline, it's a defense of Washington's timeless vision. And at its heart lies one defining question. What does patriotism mean in the modern age? Is it possible to honor your heritage while serving America completely? Or does taking office mean leaving all other allegiances behind? For Omar's critics, the answer is simple. When you are elected to serve in Washington, your loyalty belongs to one flag and one flag only, the flag of the United States of America.
Mr. Speaker, pursuant to Clause 2A.1 of Rule 9, I seek recognition to give notice of my intent to raise a question of the privileges of the House. The form of the resolution is as follows.
Recognized.
Censuring Representative Ilhan Omar of Minnesota. Whereas elected members of Congress take an oath to bear true faith and allegiance to the United States without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion. Whereas Representative Ilhan Omar took an oath of allegiance to the United States upon becoming a citizen, declaring, I absolutely and entirely renounce and abjure all allegiance and fidelity to any foreign prince, potentate, state, or sovereignty, of whom or which I have heretofore been a subject or citizen. Whereas on January 27, 2024, Representative Omar gave remarks at an event in Minneapolis in which she made treasonous statements. Whereas Representative Omar said she has spoken to many Somalians who asked her to intercede for the Somali government by pressuring the United States government into certain actions. Whereas Representative Omar assured the Somalians she spoke to, the U.S. government will only do what Somalians in the U.S. tell them to do. They will do what we want and nothing else. They must follow our orders, and that is how we will safeguard the interest of Somalia.
The controversy surrounding Representative Ilhan Omar has once again stirred heated debate in Congress. Lawmakers have introduced a resolution to censure her following allegations that she expressed loyalty to Somalia over the United States, comments that have raised serious concerns about divided allegiance. For many, this issue goes beyond a single statement. It touches on a fundamental question. Are America's elected officials fully committed to the Constitution they swore to uphold? As the situation unfolds, critics argue that Omar's remarks reflect more than just poor judgment. They see them as potential breach of trust between an elected representative and the American people. On the House floor, members reminded the nation that every representative takes an oath, one that demands true faith and allegiance to the United States without mental reservations or foreign ties. The purpose of that oath is clear: to ensure that those chosen to lead serve the American people first. However, Omar's alleged comments about defending Somalia's interest from within the U.S. government have been described as a direct contradiction of that pledge. The growing tension underscores a larger concern that divided loyalties could threaten the very sovereignty of the United States.